another class of our computer lesson. So this is our second chapter, wireless and cloud technologies. So last class we have studied about some topics in our chapter. So can you remember what are the topics we learned in our previous class? Yes, at first we discussed about wireless technologies. Then what do you mean by wireless technology? It is a technology that allows us to communicate without using any type of wires or cables. So what do you mean by wireless technology? It is a technology that allows us to communicate to any other devices or any other peoples without using any type of wires or cables. And in that wireless technology, they use infrared waves and radio waves for communication. Okay, so an example is cell phone that uses radio waves for the data transmission. And at first we discussed infrared communication. That means remote control is an example for infrared communication. We can operate or we can control the operations of a TV or an AC using remote control. And also we can say that nowadays smartphones contain IR blaster feature can act as a remote control for operating TV, set-top box or any type of this type of devices. Then after we discuss in that infrared communication, the devices must lie close to each other, then only we can transmit data from one device to another, and that communication path is known as line of sight. Okay. Then after Bluetooth technology. So we are familiarized with the Bluetooth technology, and in this type of technology is also a wireless technology that uses short range radio waves and it replaces the cables, right? And this is a technology is used to communicate with the Bluetooth equipped devices. And then what are the uses of Bluetooth? First one, we can make calls from a Bluetooth headset from a remotely connected cell phone. That is the first use. And second one, we can eliminate cables linking computers to printers or a mouse or a keyboard, etc. That means we can eliminate wires or cables. Then third one, we can send music, song to the another devices through Bluetooth technology. The next one is we can set up a home network so that we can access or monitor the AC, TV or children's net surfing, etc. Then fifth use, we can call home from a remote location, and then we can set alarm or we can turn applications on or off, etc. Then next after that we learn about Wi-Fi technology. Then what's the full name of Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity, and it is the term used for high speed wireless access technology, right? So this is a method used for communicating Wi-Fi equipped devices to another or accessing internet, etc. Then the only condition is that devices must lie at the range of the Wi-Fi signal, and this is a long range radio waves are used in Wi-Fi technology. Then after that, what is a hotspot? And what is a hotspot? The hotspot is the zone where we can get high speed internet access, right? So the definition is hotspot is a zone that is enabled high speed wireless internet access, and we can available this type of hotspots in public stations like airports, railway station, bus stations, etc. Then what are the difference between a Bluetooth and a Wi-Fi? Bluetooth uses short range radio waves and another Wi-Fi long range radio waves, right? And both are used for communicating another devices using wireless. Then next is WiMAX technology. WiMAX technology means it is the standard for long range wireless communication. Then what is the difference between Wi-Fi and a WiMAX? Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity and WiMAX stands for Worldwide Interoperability Microwave Access. Then it is almost speed same, but the difference is at a distance. That means Wi-Fi cover the distance about 30 km and the WiMAX is about 50 km due to the frequencies and the power of the transmitter used in the WiMAX technology. Then next we discussed Global Positioning System, GPS. Then what is a GPS? GPS is a navigation system. That means to track the location of a person or an object in the Earth's surface. And each GPS, it is based on a satellite and have a receiver. Receiver means GPS receiver. That means user receiving an equipment that is known as GPS receiver. Then how it is formed? It is formed by the constellation of satellites with their ground station. Then what is the duty of a ground station? Its duty is to monitor the operational health of the satellite and then find the exact location of the satellite. Then operational health means to check the satellite is working properly. Then next is GPS receiver. So what is GPS receiver? The user receiving an equipment is referred to as GPS receiver. Then GPS receiver duty is to receive the signal transmitted from the satellite and then process it to find the exact location of a signal or a person or an object in the Earth's surface. Then after that we discussed the uses of GPS. The main use is navigation, means to track or to determine the exact location, and then there are so many applications including air, land and sea navigation, surveying, mapping, tracking, etc. Then today we are going to learn about another topic, that is connecting to the internet on mobile phones. Connecting to the internet on mobile phones. Okay. Then in our computer there are some specifications like which processor is used, what type of display is used in computer, or which operating system is used. These are the specifications for a computer, right? In our mobile there are also some specifications like which operating system is used in a mobile, or what processor is used, how much memory have a contain a mobile phone, what type of keyboard, is it touchscreen or no. So many specifications in mobile phone, and also the computer have its own specification. So we can say that mobile phone is the miniature version of computer because it have features or specification almost same. So we can say that what mobile phone is the miniature version of a computer, and we can do many applications using our mobile phone. We can play music, we can record sounds, we can play videos, watching films, and we can communicate with the other people, right? And here we are going to learn about how to access internet using our mobile phone. We know we already discussed Wi-Fi and WiMAX. So now we are going to learn how to access internet using our mobile phone. So there are two ways. First way is using Wi-Fi and second one is GPRS. So what are the ways for accessing internet using a mobile phone? There are two ways. First one Wi-Fi and second one GPRS. Yes. So first one Wi-Fi means a cell phone with a Wi-Fi is able to access high-speed internet using the mobile phone. That means a cell phone with a Wi-Fi capability can access high-speed internet, right? And they can download a very large amount of data at very high speed. Using Wi-Fi, we can access internet at very high speed and we can download a large amount of data at a very high speed. Using what? using the way Wi-Fi. You need to attain, or you need to be at a hotspot with a maximum speed or within the range of Wi-Fi signal. That's the one way. So first way is what? Using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity. And using Wi-Fi we can access internet at a very high speed. That means we can access a large amount of data, a big size of data at a very high speed. You need to be at a hotspot within the range of Wi-Fi signal. And you cannot pay any charges for this Wi-Fi connection. That's the first way. And second way is GPRS. GPRS stands for GPRS, General Packet Radio Service. So what's the full name of GPRS? GPRS stands for General Packet Radio Service. In our olden days, we know 2G connections. So what's the feature of a 2G technology? That means we can access internet. So we know in mobile phone we can access internet to this 2G GPRS, General Packet Radio Service. That means we can send the data, we receive the data in the form of packets, and each packet has a data rate. That means per second the unit of data is sent to the receiver. And this GPRS is, or that means 2G GPRS is very low speed. That means it can access the internet through mobile phone and access the data at very low speed. By downloading a big amount of data, it accesses very slow speed. That's why it is not a very good communication for accessing internet. So 2G GPRS means in olden days we used 2G technology. This type of technology is not a better thing for internet communication because it accesses a very low speed by downloading a big size of data. Okay, then we also need pay charges for the service providers, because at the data plan they can receive a charges according to the data plan they are provided to the users. So 2G means 2 generation technology. So this type of technology is not a better communication for internet access. And here better communication is using a Wi-Fi. That's why Wi-Fi can achieve a lot of data in a very high speed. And then after 2G, it is replaced by very high speed internet access, that is 3G and 4G, and that is known as mobile broadband. Then after the 2G, it is replaced by very high internet speed access, that is 3G or 4G, and which is termed as mobile broadband. So let's go to discuss about mobile broadband. Mobile broadband. Yes. So mobile broadband is a general term used to describe high-speed internet access, and this will be provided by a service provider. Service provider means Idea, Airtel, Vodafone, BSNL. These are service providers. They provided the services 3G or 4G connection for portable devices like tablet and mobile phone. So what is a mobile broadband? Mobile broadband is a term describing high-speed internet access that is provided by the service providers like Idea, Vodafone, Airtel, etc. for the portable devices like tablet and mobile phone. Then they have a data plan, and according to the data plan they pay charges to the users. Then next is 3 3G or 4G mobile broadband technology. 3G means what? Third generation, and 4G means fourth generation. And third generation networks enable network operators to allow the users with the highest advanced services. So we know what are the services provided by 3G technology. For example, we can we can use voice call, video call, accessing internet, then communicating with the other people using video conferencing. So many services are provided using 3G technology, and which is provided by network operators like Idea, Vodafone, Jio, Airtel, etc. So that is third generation network enabled network operators offers users to provide a high advanced services. What are the services? Voice telephony, video calls, wireless data in a mobile environment. Then we know the 3G is considered as a very high speed internet access or a mobile broadband internet access, and it is also, and 4G networks are better than 3G. That's we can say it may be 500 times faster than 3G. Then next is connecting your PC to 3G or 4G mobile broadband. That means you can buy a 3G or 4G USB modem and connect your port in your PC, and they have a data plan, and you can pay charges according to that data plan. That means you can buy a modem for accessing internet, and the modem provided by Tata Photon, Reliance, Airtel, other some companies which provided them. So how to connecting your PC to 3G or 4G mobile broadband? You can buy a modem that will fit into the USB port in your PC, and then you can access internet, and also you can pay the service charges for their data plan. The next is cloud computing. So next topic is cloud computing. Cloud computing means cloud is a term used for internet. So cloud is a term, it describes internet, and cloud storage means we can store the data in a area that is cloud. Cloud storage means what? We can store the data or information, files, folders in the cloud. Cloud is a term used for internet. Okay, then it is based on internet computing. It is based on internet computing, where we can share resources, share informations, share files, exchanging messages, etc. That means we know data are stored in permanently in our hard disk, right, in our computer. But rather than hard disk or any other secondary devices, we can store data in the cloud storage. Cloud is an area where we can send data to that cloud storage, but we only need an internet. We need an internet connection to access the cloud storage. For example, Google Drive. You know Google Drive? So we can access the data in Google Drive using an internet connection. And the advantages of the cloud computing is we can avoid the cost maintenance of the services provided by networks, or installing softwares, then install network, then buying any type of softwares. So it will bearing a large amount of cost, right? So we can avoid the expensive due to maintenance or installing the softwares or network. So here cloud computing means we can store the data, and we can access the data from anywhere in the world through internet. The next is, let's see what are the advantages of cloud computing. First, people in the worldwide can access the cloud, and provided they have an internet connection. That means cloud storage, we can access the data anywhere in the world through internet. That means location is not a problem for accessing the data in the cloud. We need only internet connection. That is the first advantage of cloud computing. People worldwide can access the cloud provided they have an internet connection. Then second one, there is no need to spend big money on hardware, software or licensing fee. That means we have to lower our expensive rates. That means we do not need to install any type of network or software. That means cost, we can reduce the cost by uploading our data into the cloud storage. That is, there is no need to spend money. That is the second advantage of cloud computing. And third is, you have access anytime, anywhere, and making your life so much easier. That means we can access anywhere in the world and we need only internet. That is the third advantage. You have access anytime, anywhere, and you are making your life so much easier. And fourth advantage is, it takes fewer people to do more work on a cloud with less time wasted on hardware and software issues. So we can reduce our time. That means time is an important thing. Yes, we know. So in this cloud computing, a fewer people can do in a cloud so that we can avoid hardware and network operating time. So these are the advantages of cloud computing. So what are the things we learned today? So this chapter is completed. At first we discussed about wireless technology. So wireless technology means it's the technology we can access or we can communicate with other devices through radio waves or infrared waves without using any type of cables or wires. First we discuss infrared communication. Infrared communication, what is line of sight? We know the devices must lie close to each other and that path is known as line of sight. And here uses infrared waves, and what is the best example? Remote control. Some smartphone act as a remote control for operating set-top box, TV or AC. Then after that, what is Bluetooth technology? Bluetooth technology uses short range radio waves and it replaces the cables, and it is a method used to communicate with the Bluetooth equipped devices. Then uses of Bluetooth, we can make calls, set a home network, we can send data or files one to another using Bluetooth technology, etc. Then what is the Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity, and WiMAX, worldwide interoperability microwave access. Then what's the difference between Wi-Fi and WiMAX? Wi-Fi is, they are almost same speed, but the distance is, Wi-Fi is almost 30 km and WiMAX is 50 km. And GPS means it is a navigation system used to track a person or an object in the earth surface. Then next, what is mobile broadband? Mobile broadband is a term used for high internet access, and it is provided by the service providers for portable devices like phone and tablet. Then cloud computing means, cloud means internet, and cloud computing is based on internet computing, and then we can share resources, messages, communication, etc. Then what are the advantages of cloud computing? People in the world can access data with any time if they need an internet connection. Then there is no need to spend money. Then you have access anytime, anywhere. Then we can reduce the time wasted on hardware and software issues. So our chapter is completed, and notes will come to your WhatsApp later, and you have to write your notes in your notebook. If you have any doubt, please write down at the end of your note.